Okay. Hello. Welcome back. Instead of recapping the whole episode, which was a really good episode actually, of The Walking Dead, I'm just going to talk about one part of it that I really enjoyed. I don't think I'll attach this video to my Forbes review recap where I go into more detail about everything, but I just wanted to talk about this one scene which has to do with Maggie and Negan. Negan has wanted to bail for a while now because he finds this whole mission a suicide mission that's going to fail and everyone's going to die, which isn't an unreasonable stance. But he says he'll stick around if Maggie promises that doing this will make them even. Of course, she says we'll never be even, and tells him that if he wants to go and not help the people back home, then he should just go. Which is kind of silly because she's just gotten basically all of her people killed. like she's far from protecting her people. Maggie has led them all into, one horrible situation after another, and they're all dead, except for Elijah. So I'm not sure that she has much of a leg to stand on here, but she shakes hands in front of Gabriel, the priest, and they agree to work together. And she comes up with the idea that they should sort of copy the Whisperers, because then they can get an army of zombies on their side. And so Negan helps facilitate this. They capture some zombies. They make some masks. And he basically trains Maggie on how to be a Whisperer, which is kind of an interesting concept. Maggie getting trained by Negan to become a Whisperer. So weird, right? Then they talk, and he finally brings up really the elephant in the room that's been here ever since Glenn died, which is the fact that Rick's people attacked the satellite station first. It wasn't the first scuffle between these groups, but it was the first actual assault with casualties. And Negan brings up the fact that he knows what it's like to have his home invaded and his people killed, and that these people had friends and girlfriends and whatnot. And Maggie retorts that the people he killed had families. And he says, well, yeah, what do you think Aaron got Gracie, right? These people had families also. It's a really good point that he's making. He's saying, I was trying to protect my people and, from you guys. And you're trying to protect your people. I understand. He has that empathy there, right? And I think she needs to hear that because she's conveniently ignoring the fact that they hit Negan first. And that they killed people in their sleep. In one of the most murderous and sort of amoral moments in the whole show's run. I mean, it was a terrible thing they did. But as they talk, he's talking about how there's not as many people to protect. There's not as many things to protect or fight for. And she asks, would you do it differently? And he says, yes, I would do it differently. I would kill all of you if I could do it again. And she's taken aback, like, why would you tell me this? But it's a really good point. Like, he's saying it would have protected my people if I had killed all of you. I let you live and you came and killed all my people. And he says, I'm telling you this because if we're going to work together, we have to be honest with each other, and it's the honest truth. And I love Negan for that. I think he's a great character now because he's not always just waving his dick around. He's actually very insightful and straightforward and smart. And he's just one of the best characters on the show somehow. And I never saw myself saying that, but here we are. Maggie's pretty insufferable, but this is a good scene. This is a good moment between the two of them. And what really drives it home, what I really like about this is that then you see them marching this horde. It looks just like Alpha and Beta driving a horde to Alexandria, but in this case, they're driving it to the compound where the Reapers are. And it just sort of shows that, here they are mimicking, using the strategy of one of the most wicked, insane bad guys this show's ever had. Maggie is basically becoming Alpha. Not really, but, using her tactics to win. And it just sort of shows, the lines between good guy and bad guy can be awfully blurry, right? And that in the case of Rick's group attacking Negan's group, Rick really was the bad guy. They did something really horrible and it wasn't a fight. It was just murder. It was awful. And here's Maggie, doing what the Whisperers did to beat these people that need to be killed and destroyed in order for them to get their food and revenge and to get revenge. So it's really interesting. And I really liked how that was done. And it really made this a pretty strong episode. The other stuff with the Commonwealth, we meet Sebastian, this horrible son of the leader, Pamela, and Eugene basically saves his life, and he's just a total dick to him. So Eugene punches him in the face, and that lands him in jail. And this guy Sebastian is like Joffrey, basically. He's just awful. So we got our Joffrey for The Walking Dead now. And the stuff with Daryl was good. He's seeing more of, I believe her name's Lucy. I always forget her name, but he's seeing more of her humanity and her good side. And I think he's really wanting to tell her the truth, but that's probably going to end badly. Maybe next episode. So all told, just a really good episode. Some really great character growth, character dynamics between Maggie and Negan, but between a lot of characters. I love seeing Eugene become less of a coward and more, stand up for what's right and bravely rush into danger. So yeah, let me know what you thought of it. Maybe I'm missing some glaring plot holes. I think my brain goes into the walking brain dead some when I watch the show, and I'm a little less critical because there's always so many little nitpicky things you can talk about, but I don't want to do that all the time. So all told, strong episode. Stronger overall than last week's. Last week's was dumb and implausible and fun and scary, and I really enjoyed it, even though I know it's completely ridiculous with those feral people. This week's is much more grounded, much more character driven, and I like that. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, check out my written review over at my blog at Forbes, and thank you for watching. Peace.